This video may contain minor spoilers for Transformers 1. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, I'm feeling sick the day I'm recording this, but this video isn't too important to wait, so you're gonna have to suffer through my sickly voice, if you could even tell the difference. Hell, it might even be an improvement. Transformers 1 has finally been released, and oh my Primus, it's amazing! I was so excited to see this film, and it did not disappoint. I love this movie, and so have pretty much everyone else who has seen it. So, why is it doing so poorly at the box office? But before I talk about that, let me just gush about this movie for a bit. The story is excellent. Every character arc is given just enough time to be fully fleshed out. The animation is also beautiful. This movie might have my favorite look for Cybertron out of the entire franchise, barring maybe the IDW comics. And I really hope that in the future installments we can see this universe's take on other iconic locations like the Rust Sea or Crystal City. Also, new Cybertronian wildlife? Oh, hell yeah! Hasbro, when are you making a figure of them? I will buy 10 of them. The humor is really good, which is surprising based on the trailer, but more on that later. There were multiple times I got a good chuckle out of a line that was supposed to be funny. Then again, I also got a good chuckle out of some lines that were not supposed to be funny.
I'm sorry, are those miners in the race?
Though one aspect of the comedy is one of my only real criticisms of the film, that being the infamous Badassatron line.
I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced
Badassatron.
I'll admit, when I first heard the line, it was funny, but then they used it again, and I thought, oh god, is this going to be the running joke throughout the movie? Sure enough it was, and it got less and less funny every time they used it. But other than that, the comedy was generally on point, and I actually didn't find Bumblebee to be that annoying for most of the film. Now the characters, oh my god, the characters. They were amazing. This movie perfectly nails pretty much every character that appears, taking aspects from every previous interpretation in order to create the perfect versions of these characters. This movie now has my favorite versions of Elita 1, Darkwing, Alpha Trion, Sentinel Prime, Arachnid, and if Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave weren't always my favorite characters in every continuity, and if they had been given more than a combined 10 minutes of screen time, then these versions of them would be pretty high on my list. Quick tangent about Shockwave, I love how angry he is in this film. Now, while I love cold, logical, emotionless Shockwave, I kinda love that we now have a version of him with such a short fuse.
Why is he gagged?
He wouldn't stop talking.
Even when he was unconscious?
Especially when he was unconscious. I told you it wasn't tight enough! Woo!
He's just so annoyed at everything all the time. I love him. My personal headcanon is that in the next installment, there will be a subplot where Shockwave's anger issues cause him to be a liability, so he deletes his emotions in order to more efficiently serve Megatron. I say headcanon instead of theory, because I'm not sure if we'll even be getting another installment, but more on that later. Also, I know that he was Orion Pax for most of the film, but I am so glad to have an Optimus that isn't boring and lifeless. For the last decade, Optimus has done nothing but be stern and deliver endless platitudes of wisdom without any sense of a real soul, and/or he's a murderous psychopath. But in this film, we have an Optimus who actually feels like a real person, like someone who could one day become the father of a generation like the G1 version. He also isn't some reincarnated Prime like in the Aligned continuity, which makes it feel like he truly earns the title of Prime by the end of the film, instead of being some chosen one. He isn't my favorite Optimus, but dear lord is he an improvement over the last few versions.
Now, tell me you forgive me.
My only real issue is that I wish we got to see more from the background characters. Jazz got a surprising number of lines, but not nearly enough in my opinion. RC and Ironhide got each about 3 lines. Wheeljack got maybe 1 line. Red Alert, Sunstreaker, Sideswipe, Brawn, and all the other background Autobots got no lines. Skywarp got 1 line and Thundercracker got 0. And most shameful of all was Ratchet getting name dropped, but never actually appearing in the movie. You can't diss my cranky old Docbot like that. Shame on you, Transformers 1. Wait, what's that? They brought back Viacons? Never mind, all is forgiven. So why is this movie doing so poorly if it's so amazing on almost every level? Because, if you haven't already realized this, the marketing for the movie was utterly atrocious. That first trailer we got, while fine for fans of the series, looks awful to those who aren't already familiar with the franchise. For example, take YMS's reaction to the first trailer. When I first watched his reaction, I just thought it was Adam being Adam. He's the guy who gives almost everything a 6 out of 10 or lower. Hell, he gave Prehistoric Planet a 7 out of 10. Plus, for as long as I've been watching his videos, he's gone on record about how much he hates the Transformers, or at least the Michael Bay movies. Which, like, yeah, fair, they're all pretty bad. So obviously he wasn't going to like the trailer. But then I thought about it for a bit, and I realized, no, it's not his personal bias stopping him from liking the trailer and thinking the movie looks bad. The problem is that the trailer sucks and makes the movie look terrible. Unless you are a little kid, or someone already familiar with this franchise, this movie looks painfully generic and unfunny. This movie is really good. It deserved a better trailer than this. It deserved something that actually shows this movie's strengths. It deserved not to be stuck with the most incompetent marketing team known to man. I think Hasbro might have the dumbest marketing team I have ever seen. Hey, let's make our new Transformers show exclusive to a streaming service nobody has. Let's not start properly marketing Rise of the Beast until it's 2 months away from release. Let's actually start marketing Transformers 1 at a reasonable time, but do it with a trailer that is painfully unappealing to anyone who isn't a fan. Let's make the last wave of Legacy United almost nothing but re-releases, including a Legacy Breakdown in G2 colors and a Legacy Blitzwing in fucking green. Seriously, who asked for this? Let me make this clear to people who saw the first trailer and aren't already fans of Transformers. This movie is not for little kids. They certainly can watch it, but there are multiple on-screen deaths, dark themes, multiple light swears, most of which being from that stupid Badassatron gag, and many, many 80s references that modern kids will completely miss. This is the first movie in the franchise where you can go in completely blind without any knowledge of Transformers and enjoy it. I should know. I've taken 3 people to see this movie, all of which either knew nothing about Transformers or have only watched the live-action films, meaning they basically knew nothing about Transformers either, and they all enjoyed it. And the people in my life I was able to convince to see this movie on their own time really enjoyed it as well. This is an excellent movie, which I really hope can make a comeback, if for no other reason than I just want a sequel to this movie. I honestly couldn't care less if the G.I. Joe crossover got cancelled due to this movie bombing, though. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. There isn't really a point to this video, other than that I highly recommend you go watch Transformers 1 in theaters now. You should really go watch Transformers 1 in theaters now. Transformers 1 in theaters now. Transformers 1 in theaters now.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!